freedom is very important to us. I'm a Cuban-American, and needless to say, we treasure freedom just because we lost it. And so we found it again in this country, and we want to make sure that we keep it. And by being a strong, Christian-loving, military family. But the biggest eye-opener for me here was how free everybody was. Nobody was scared anymore. Yeah. In Cuba, we had someone watching the block all the time. There was a person that belonged to the government watching our every move, what came in to the house, who came in, and we had to ask permission for people to come into the house, and that people would come in and out of the house was incredible to me. So I mean, I love this country, and I loved it right away.
We're very proud of the place where we were born. There's a lot of history, talking about Machu Picchu and the Inca City, But also there is a lot of people that have strongly influenced my life. When I came here, I ran into people just like them with a whole lot of dedication, with strong values. So as we make this transition to this country, I understood that it's all about values. One of the histories that we can tell is that the first time I went to a 7-Eleven, somebody told me, "Hey buddy, you gotta learn English." So the moment I got a little bit upset, but later on I say, you know what, thank you, because it sort of pushed me to do that.
I learned it very quickly. I learned English very quickly, and then it was a matter of just my parents' role model for us of just rolling up the sleeves and getting to work.
One of the drivers was that I was an immigrant. I wanted to do my part. I didn't want nobody questioning me, what I'm doing here. So when I joined the service, I intended only to be a 4-year term, and it turned out to be a career. But that was one of the other factors. And also, when I find out that only 1% of the population wear uniform, it's a very elite group that allows us to be here and have this conversation. In whatever capacity, you are in a very elite group. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you, from an Army perspective, I don't care how you're serving. At the end of the day, you're a rifleman. and those of us who serve, don't forget that. We know that. And I grew up in a country where on the Independence Day is a show of force. They display the weapons, the tanks, the soldiers, and I think a lot of countries do that around the world. So when I moved here, I was expecting just that. I was saying, oh my gosh, I'm here in the U.S. I'm gonna look at all these tanks, all these missiles, all this display of. I mean, this is the #1 country in the world. So I was expecting a lot of power being shown. And all of a sudden, coming July 4, I see a lot of families with their blankets, going to a park, the fireworks, and it hit me for the first time that is freedom. And that was one of the motivators, one of them, that made me join the service. When I took my assignment with the National Guard Bureau on a Title X, and I was exposed to the different programs, the complexity of these programs are a challenge. So what we do in the services, we send you to some of these acquisition courses, so you can learn the life cycle on what it takes to get a product from scratch, build the need statements, build the requirements, and make it into a product that can be used by the servicemen. And that process creates a level of vision, creates a level of creativity, that if you're paying attention, not only you learn, but it really builds your resume. So I took that background and I went ahead and opened Joint Technology Solution. And I'm starting to realize that not only That background allowed me to serve or continue to serve in a different capacity, of course, the Department of Defense, but also has allowed me to put some of these concepts into a commercial practice. So it really serves both worlds. And that was a benefit that I found in the service, that as I retire, I can continue to support our men and our women who are serving in uniform.
My father was a physician, and so he worked very hard here to revalidate his license. And it took him 9 years to do that because he was holding 2 jobs, a full-time job, a part-time job, and then he would study in the middle of the night to be able to pass his board certification, to be able to practice here. Sadly enough, he died 2 weeks after passing that exam because the stress, I believe, got to him. So that made me even try harder to pick up where he left off, and that's where I always felt that I wanted to own a business, and got into the child care business, and I started with 1 child out of my home. We now have 4 centers, 4 operating programs.
Yeah, my transition from the service, you have to go through a process. You have to allow yourself a little bit of time, but what we forget is that when we retire, when we transition, in my case, I'm an ex-officer. So those benefits that comes with the rank are no longer there. You are just like the rest. So you have to earn your way into different positions, into different jobs. You have to earn the respect of your coworkers. At the same time, being in the commercial world is a different way of doing business. So in my case, it took me about 3 years, maybe, something like 3 years to really fully understand it, this new culture.
There is that period until you learn to write your story, and the story is you know, that was just a phase of your life and a chapter in your life, and that chapter has ended and then a new one is beginning, and how am I going to write that one? So I think that's where he was, and that's where his company evolved came from. The good thing about Santiago is that he, because of his personality, and he is a talker, and he loves to talk, and he's very outgoing, he made a lot of good friends and contacts in the military. So in a sense, it was not like an abrupt cut. It was like a continuation of in a different role.
I have no doubts that I did create some stress in my family at times, you know, because when I did that transition, things were not going smooth as I wanted it to go.
He just needed to figure out who his new commander-in-chief was going to be.
Well, that's you.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, she bought me recently a little thing that said, here is the home of a veteran living with his chief of staff.
Or commander-in-chief.
Or commander-in-chief, something like that. Yeah.
Well, our children are first-generation Americans. We believe in coming to this land and contributing to it and leaving it a better place than how we found it. And so we're so grateful to this country for the opportunity that it has given us, and that so many doors that have opened for us. And if you keep knocking on the doors, they just seem to open.
Yeah, we have actually experienced a lot of good people in this country. They have opened the doors, they have mentored us, they have coached us. I will tell you that one of my greatest experience with the National Guard has been visiting the different states and getting to know their citizens, what I call the warrior citizens, that, you know, they have a full-time job, and when they are called to serve, they do not hesitate and they go. So through them, I have learned a different side of this culture, that there's a long tradition in this country, there is a love for the country, there's history, and those are the kind of values that we have incorporated into this family, and we have passed down to our kids. And at the end of the day, it's really about their love and their loyalty to the country they were born to.
Our goal is to continue to contribute to this country, to reach our highest potential, to be people of excellence. And we need to be good role models for other people. So hopefully by being good role models to other people, you know, we will, this next generation that's coming up will see a better way. They can actually have pride in their life and in what they do. And that's my greatest wish.
We want to go forward. We don't want to stop. America is about competition. I love the fact that we compete. I love the fact that I can find qualified people out there, be able to exchange with them, learn from them, bring ideas into the business, create opportunities for others. I mean, we have between the two companies, we have a significant payroll, and the responsibility is huge when you're thinking about putting food on families' table. Right now, I'm very committed to go forward, expand the business, bringing quality workers, providing training to people who do not have the training. And from the veteran point of view, as my company grows, I will definitely be looking out for some veterans. It is a life of discipline.
It's a cultural discipline.
When you own a business, it's not an 8 to 5.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life. You have to, Sonia likes to say, we got to be like the athletes.
It is like an athlete. We wake up every morning, we go to training every day.
Every day, yeah. We want to contribute to the growth of America. It might be a little piece, but we want to do it right, and we want to contribute to the creation of jobs. We want to be able to support those families. You know, so business is not so much about making money. It's also a responsibility. You want to do this correctly, and so we like that area of creating opportunity.
But in a way, you never took off the uniform because you're always talking about it. So.
No, how about you?
We have the house full of flags and everything, so we're in your world anyway.
Yeah, and we
love the flag. We love the American flag, obviously.
Yeah.